For citizens in developed and developing countries alike, job creation and stability is a primary concern. This tension only increases when countries undergo transitions from agricultural industries to technology industries in an attempt to pull their nation into more profitable markets. My research in political economy this semester focused on the significance of human capital in developing economies and the role that NGOs play in this development. Many economists have concluded that in determining comparative advantage in international trade markets, the capacity of a nation's labor force is as important as all other natural resources. So the answer to the question why human capital is because it's an endogenous factor that countries have control over versus things like natural resources and the country's history and the country's geographical location. While lack of resources is a problem that will always persist, the lack of knowledge that separates developed from developing countries has the potential to be remedied. Beyond improving the quality of a nation's workforce and paving the way for local business opportunities, human capital also has the broader macroeconomic benefit of building a culture of innovation within society. It is also one of the largest determinants in per capita income and builds bridges between developed and developing countries. So why not the governments? Why NGOs? Joseph Stiglitz warns that advances in human capital will not be successful if social barriers, structural inequalities, or anti-poor policies are in place. NGOs are less likely to give in to the clientelist tendencies that governments do. And also, foreign aid comes with strings attached. The political nature of foreign aid, both in the motivation behind its delivery and the political parties it is delivered to, often hinder it from effectively improving human capital. And looking at this from a broader scale, the political nature of governments and the pressure that they receive to provide immediate economic relief may not work for these type of investments because they are typically viewed as far more long-term. The first NGO that I focused on in case studies was the BRAC. It was formerly known as the Bangladesh Rehabilitation Assistance Committee, and now it is referred to as the Bangladesh Rural Advancement Committee. BRAC focuses on adult literacy as well as coordinates microenterprise and savings groups. And the activities of the BRAC are centered around the realization that family farms are the basic units of production in rural villages. And for that reason, this NGO focuses on enhancing poultry, plant, vegetable, and livestock industries. Proshika, also working with BRAC in Bangladesh, has many environmental regeneration programs. And besides protecting natural resources, these programs train participants in organic farming, sericulture, ecological fishing, plant diversification, farm technology, and more. They also offer organizational development trainings and practical skill development trainings. CARE, which the project that I focused on in my case study, is about strengthening the dairy value chain in Bangladesh. And as you can see, these are farmers that have been part of CARE's program. Through CARE's work with dairy farmers in Bangladesh, researchers have concluded that changing dairy market practices to include collective action, participation, access to inputs and markets, capability enhancement, and transaction transparency resulted in not only improving the lives of farmers, but also in a reduction of market failures. Through their development efforts, CARE was successful in reducing poverty for the 35,000 farmers that participated in their program. Improvements in the dairy industry have also had a positive impact on consumers and all other actors in the dairy value chain. These types of programs are also taking place in Mozambique. The CAR Foundation, which has now started the Gorongosa National Park Restoration Project, has played a big role in developing human capital. Partnering with the Mozambican government, the restoration project has built an ecotourism industry that employs Mozambicans and gives its profits to community development projects, primarily educational institutions. However, its most unique accomplishment is the training it has provided to Mozambicans on conservation and restoration strategies. align with the organization's core value that the Gorongosa National Park belongs to the Mozambican people. The restoration project educates aspiring environmental scientists on sustainable agriculture, botany, fire management, animal biology, and many other fields of study that will prepare Mozambicans to rebuild Gorongosa. Besides developing the human capital of conservationists, the restoration project also works with law enforcement, further preparing Mozambican citizens and the government to assume responsibility of ecotourism. From the case studies above, it is apparent that NGOs have been successful in holistic development and grassroots empowerment in a way that governments have not. Key features of effective initiatives included revamping struggling industries, introducing business practices that promote community well-being, providing microloans, training citizens to utilize and protect natural resources and ecosystems. In order to further develop human capital, organizations must enhance successful microlending programs with education and entrepreneurship training. Such programs increase client retention, and participants report that supplemental training helps them identify new markets and profit opportunities. The same model should be applied to developing human capital for rising industries. Human development programs should not only focus on small businesses, but also aim to improve human capital to advance large-scale industrialization. While in developed countries, human capital formation requires structural changes to create equal opportunities, in developing countries, the foundation for human capital needs to be laid. To realize this, the tools must be put in the people's hands, and NGOs play a critical role in helping empower people to construct and maintain businesses that will not only bring their family out of poverty, but increase productive economic activity within their respective communities.